Okay, am I live? Hopefully I am. Okay, this is a launch from Canada. I don't normally cover space launches because there's both a whole lot of other channels that do it better, but this is Nordspace. It's actually launching from the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And let's do a quick Google Maps just to show where. I know not everybody is familiar with the Canadian geography, so this is a bit of a surprise. So Newfoundland is this big island out over here. Okay. And in the late 80s, I was actually over here. We drove up to here, then to here, and then down to St. John's. And in this peninsula is the oldest European settlement, Lansomentos, from the Viking Age. Let's see if we can find St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence is the town where the spaceport is located, just outside of. Okay, I assume I spelt it wrong. So it's out on this peninsula, and from their own promotional videos, this is what it looks like on site. Pretty isolated spot in Newfoundland. So we're going to take a look at their own website. I think there's some time before this is supposed to. This is their second attempt to launch today. Looks pretty cloudy there. It's pretty cloudy here today too. Got a few showers so far today, but so which window am I streaming in? Okay, I'm just answering somebody. This is their first attempt to launching, so I don't know if they're actually launching anything today. This is, I think this is just a test. They actually tried earlier in Scrub, so I don't know if it's going to actually happen. So I'm just about to go over their website to see what they have there. But this is supposed to check. This area, what they're attempting to get into orbit here eventually is polar orbits and equatorial orbits, because you can have satellites that go around the poles. There are a number of these. Even Starlink has ones that go near the poles. The International Space Station is something like this, off to one side, like 50 degrees off to the side. And they were also trying to get around the equator. This is not the first plan to have a Canadian spaceport. There was also plans for in the Kanso area over here. Yeah, I don't know what the plans are for that. I think they were building. Also, Kanso was actually when the first telegraph wires crossed the Atlantic Ocean. That was one of the first points that got cable, and most of the communications for North America from Europe came through there for a while. So, but yeah, today's launch is over here. The East Coast has several advantages. It's near water on its east side. We're not super densely populated either, but we're going to go into the information page here. I should have done research ahead of time. Stuck nitrogen quick disconnect system failed. That's why they scrubbed it earlier today. Newfoundland time is half an hour off from Atlantic time, so that'd be 11:15 here in Atlantic Canada. It'd be 10:15 on the east coast of the States in Eastern time. Okay. So they're trying for a second attempt and see if they fix the quick release, I guess, for the nitrogen. Nitrogen just adds pressure into the system. Yes, unfortunately, I forgot to thank you for showing up, but I think that the launch is supposed to be within the hour if they do it. So let's go back to their page. So I don't think they're actually launching anything today. It's more just a test. So we'll see what happens. I don't normally cover rockets because as I said, a lot of other people cover them. But this is kind of unique. Okay, can we... Sorry if I made anybody a little queasy by moving things so fast, but... From 46 to 100 degrees. Okay, I assume that's relative to the equator. Because the highest you can have is 90 degrees, but you can probably go like this and say it's 100 degrees. And eventually we'll have two launch pads. And it will eventually, and it will work with the Americans. Having a launch facility probably makes sense in the current climate of politics, but double check. We're gonna check their YouTube page. Watch a couple of their own videos. Watch them build a rocket. As you can see, it's not the biggest rocket, but it'll do its job. Okay, I forgot that Canada did have another launch recently. It was somewheres in Quebec, which is over here. Can't remember exactly where it was, but that was an academic, a university project that started before the COVID situation, and it was a bunch of universities that grouped up to build it, and it took several class generations to do it, but and hundreds of hours of work to do it. But it was so we had a launch recently that was successful. So because most of the time Canadian space exploration is more we send people down to the States to do things, or we hire out rockets from the States to do things. But under the current environment, oops, wrong thing. I was watching something earlier. I should close some more tabs before I start doing things. Okay, where did I put? There it is. Sorry for all that. So we'll go back to their page, their home page. Okay, the 500 kilogram low Earth orbit. Kilogram is about 2.5 pounds, so it'd be about 1,100 pound to low Earth orbit. Tundra is their name of their rocket. And they're using 3D printed engines, which is cool. That's a good thing about 3D engine. 3D printing has allowed a lot of sped up things. They're naming the rockets after astronauts. Hatfield is Chris Hatfield. He's best known as the singing astronaut. Garneau just passed away in July. He was Canada's first astronaut. And Bondier, I can't remember. If I can type. A Canadian female astronaut. We'll look it up. First female astronaut and first neurologist in space. I know I should be an expert in everything about space, but I'm not. So, Terra Nova satellite will be Nordspace's first satellite, and it's a demonstration of 3 key technologies, and it's going to be a nano small satellite on its Athena bus, as well as two payloads. So, yeah. So let's just go back. I'm dark mode kind of, but I think they're all keyed up to launch. It'd be They're starting to clock for about an hour. Can I talk for an hour? Okay. Yeah. Oops. There's the rocket directly. I'm sorry for that. I don't know how to. I guess my OBS will only allow me to show so much. So, have they even started the countdown? Or they're gonna. So, do you want to go through that stuff again? So we'll go back to their page. Show the behind the scenes video again, since you guys didn't see it. That's the behind the scenes of their building the rocket.
Confidence is not a mindset, it's an achievement. In the GMC Sierra HD AT4N.
And this is their Hatfield engine. Okay, and here's the thing. I think Nordspace is a private company. It's not part of this Canadian Space Agency. Oh, okay, we're going to look at another engine test here. Here's another good thing is where they are located, it's pretty isolated. You're not gonna. Okay, and we'll look at this. I'm using their own material for a bit here. Mark Garneau, maybe? That's Chris Hatfield. Avro Arrow. A lot of our engineers went to that project.
Totally agree. I've been a rocket scientist for 40 years, and I gotta tell you that every single day has been an adventure. I have gotten the opportunity to do just amazing things. I have slept on a torpedo, and I have shot it.
On this Canada Day,
Oh, okay.
just think about a nation. We think of the beautiful.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, just said that he's read Chris Hatfield's book. I've actually got, or two of his books. I've actually got the, which one is it? An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. And I've only read the introduction chapter, so I've got some catching up to do with Unfornicated. But okay. I guess this is from one of our national news broadcasts. It's actually if I can remember which one I got the yeah. They're still got the clocks ticking at an hour, so. Or were you just watching the recording? No, it's live. That's probably been the one that's going to launch the satellite. This is today is just a, as I said, a Pathfinder vehicle.
So if you can see, that's the map.
Bashar Elsie is the CEO of Reaction Dynamics. The company recently partnered with Nordspace Launch Services, which built the first moving launch site in Nova Scotia, to launch.
That's the one in Canso, Nova Scotia. This is the Maritime Launch Services.
Its first prototype in the next few years. The company is well into testing and development and sees its work as giving Canada a leap forward.
Space is going to be a big thriving economy. And as a country, as an industrialized country, we need a way to access it. We need a way to access their borders.
Sorry for all the dead air, but I'm. But well,
But why bother launching rockets and satellites into space from Canadian soil when it's safe? SpaceX has made it more accessible than ever. The Canadian Space Agency says launching satellites these days means companies lining up for a private launch pad in Florida.
There is risk in spaceport security rankings ways to launch, and so Canada is putting position.
A Canadian spaceport would also be a chance to give, and not just take, from the international space community.
When you are collaborating with a partner, it's a collaboration. So you need to bring something to the table. So if we are just asking for something, we need to contribute something, then the partnership is
But another big reason to go out another seat. Canada's rocket engineers is staying home instead of taking the talents to countries with
So priority
Hmm.
is a launch program called Bigger Bet. Here's a
This is the the student or university ran launch a few weeks ago.
we named the rocket Challenge, which is a hero of Greek folklore. He's also called like a star boy.
Alan leads a team of rocket engineers at Newfoundland University. He recently helped his team achieve the first launching the most powerful rocket ever to test twins from Canadian soil. And Calamari sees a future beyond Canadian rocket for students getting jobs at college.
Looks like the private sector is probably finally has engineers. But there's also there's something amazing about education, right? We can actually develop on this program within. Can you imagine that universities capable of launching their own satellites? Like the worlds of research isn't being the worlds of research. Like space, Canada can become a hub of space research. It's exciting.
Back to Nordspace, Wells sees increasing enthusiasm for making Canadian.
Well, hopefully I won't. I wasn't much thinking about copyright, but hopefully they won't strike me. But
As a group,
inspired by the high output of people who think that was great. Someone and talking about that, and we're glad Canadians are realizing why investment is as important.
a lot of investment is still needed, and it's worth it, says entrepreneurs, because it's money that wouldn't just pay for rockets up, but also come on
The Nordspace launch window opens this coming Monday at 8 a.m. Newfoundland time and continues each day next week until conditions are right.
okay, so they apparently have some give. Okay, I'm just gonna close it. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully they'll launch, or maybe they'll have to scrub. There's a few more hours of daylight left, but that's the problem with Canada is that we produce a lot of academics and engineers and stuff, and they often have to go down to the States to do their work. So if we can make an industry up here for engineers and rocket scientists, maybe that will help. But we'll give them a little bit longer to start the clock again. Maybe we can go into doing some. Oh, I like to talk about. Oh, I don't want to talk about him, but he keeps producing stuff, and he's from Saskatchewan. So anybody, the one person that's listening right now, probably knows who I'm talking about, because he published some new images, and I had some things to do. Is a part of they? I don't know. Probably not. It's a private company. Do want to talk about one of our chief conspiracy nuts from Canada, from Saskatchewan. Yeah, it probably is fair use. I'm making comments on it, so it's probably fair use. So I'm not. I don't think I'm really violating much of the copyright strike system. So I probably won't be hit by a copyright strike. But yeah, it's all fair use. Plus, this is kind of promotion for the company anyway. So, we're gonna look at. Since I don't know how long we're gonna wait for them to launch, I'm gonna bring up something here. I probably don't want it. I know Mikey's challenged in some ways, and but the only reason I do comments on him is because he keeps. Okay, that's not the one I wanted to go into. He did this latest one about him taking astrophotography. I'm gonna. Okay, just a second. Do. Sorry for the little hum. I'm going to test something here. Okay, you can't see that, so what I'm going to do is window capture. See if I can get this. Okay. Yes, these are not the best astronomy pictures, but I took these about late 90s, early 2000s, well, the turn of the millennium. So, because Mikey keeps talking about astrophotography, and he so you can't see. And he's fast forward a little too far.
What's going on, guys?
You can hear him, but
United Nations flag at the back.
can't see him.
My street activism. Flag, and of course, good luck.
Okay.
Hey, let's get perception of this.
So, what am I going to do here?
All these people in my chat. This is what DJ doing with that. Hey, what's happening? We got
While he's talking, I'm going to set up something here.
Fantastic pictures, some that we have decent,
Can you hear? Okay. What are you guys seeing?
Again. I will be showing
Here's my opinion on the trial. I think most of it it'll be thrown out before it even gets to the courts. I don't know if there's going to be any. He has to pay them back anything besides the court fees, but there's no real evidence in his stuff. He thinks he's going to win. He's not going to win. He's probably on right now, but so I've got. But I'm.
like the balance. That's all I do on some of my pictures.
I'm going to try to get closer to when he starts talking astrophotography.
There's more stars. It's like, holy cow, this is working really good. So I don't whoever it is I need to talk to in order to sue NASA. And yes, the sky is. You can't go any higher. Any of us.
The sky is the limit just means that you got unbound potential to do whatever you're doing. That's all it means. It's a metaphor. He doesn't get metaphors.
Let's go to the nonsense pictures of NASA. All NASA and so go over to Google, explain things somewhere kind of explaining garbage. Milky Way galaxy.
They're not cartoons. They're just demonstrations of, okay, the clock is down, started ticking for an hour. So they've got, it looks a lot sunnier now. So they got some good weather. So hopefully they will be launching. So we'll probably go in between Mikey Smith and this for a while. So yes, I saw that, which that was funny. I saw the They commercial. Let's do that. Okay. They. I'm spelling it wrong. YouTube of the world's worst speller. Okay. So we'll watch the They video if I can find it. They.
out, just clarity. Population density optimization ensures the right people are in the right places at exactly the right time. Because balance creates happiness. Whether you're syncing with our Truth Verification Division or upgrading through the Voluntary Mandatory Optimization Program, A makes them equal. Everything. And how it works? Our interdisciplinary team of cognitive architects and social harmony specialists continuously analyze the local context. Unpredictable studies, filtered out, fringe perspectives, dissenting voices, harmony. And they don't just follow consensus, we create it. And as thinkers may resist, they call it freedom, we call it weakness. Their compliance is our compassion. Their individuality is motivation. Joy is safe.
I admit, think download the face and thoughts harmonized.
Global conspiracy. Compromising human potential since age 3.
Okay. Okay. May re-show that later. Okay. Go since they're going to be a while before they launch. We'll talk a little bit about Mikey Smith, and once I stop flipping all over the place. Okay. Thing with astro images. There are some astro images that have been edited. There are some that are just meant there to be demonstration. They're not there to be an actual realistic representation of the objects. They're just there to inspire people or to get a point across. But we'll let them go for a bit here.
So yeah, again, let's look at this. So this, yes, this could be a picture. Right? It looks like a Milky Way.
That's definitely a picture of the Milky Way. When you got really dark skies, it really shows like that. I can see the Milky Way here. It's kind of faint. If I stay outside for a while, your eyes open up and you can definitely see it more. But the thing is, it's also in the southern part of the sky here. And to my south, there's two towns, one on either side of the Canadian-American border. And there's some light pollution from the town. So it kind of gets washed out in that direction.
I've never seen it through Jeff, gas head, see there, old mate, true. Almost like some cousins talking.
I'm just trying to skip over his conversation. But yeah, when you look at when you do look at the Milky Way up close, you do see more stars. Just was reminded of something. The coat hanger. A friend of mine showed me this years ago. If you look in the Milky Way at the right point, you will see okay, this is a Wikipedia image. Now I'm going to shift things. How did I sorry, I didn't shift over scenes. So we'll have to show you the they commercial again. But if you look at the Milky Way at the right spot, you will find this. It's called the coat hanger. The guy who showed me it was a 7-day Adventist. So he's fairly religious. So he and his family call it the God's coat hanger. But you can find that in the Milky Way. But you see more patterns and clusters and stuff in the Milky Way than you can with your naked eye. So yeah, it's still about 15 minutes away from him. So we'll show you the they commercial again. Okay, I'll let this run. Okay, but back to Mikey. But you can know about the coat hanger. It's near Cygnus. If you look, the way we found, I can't remember which direction we were looking, but it's in the Milky Way near Cygnus. We were looking through binoculars at the time, just outside of Fredericton. So, that's what you need to try to put up a video about it. But yeah, there's all kinds of little clusters and stuff hidden in the Milky Way. I don't know what he means by clear. If the sky is clear, it's clear. But there are pockets of air that have different densities, and they do float up. And if you're taking a video, this is one reason why astronomers don't take videos, is because these pockets can distort the image. So I don't know what he means. These are not clear. They all look like they have star trail. They're not being tracked properly, and it's through I think these are done by him, so that if it is, it's just he's not tracking them at the right speed. And everybody knows what speed the Earth rotates, 15 degrees an hour.
These ones look like the points on the stars, so this could be an actual real photo. It is. I'm not thinking it is, so I'm just using this for entertainment purposes. This is not my photos.
Okay, the reason why there's a laser here is this is a process called adaptive optics. The telescope segments are so huge nowadays that they're not one big mirror. They're a bunch of little they're smaller mirrors, and they're kind of floated on top of actuators. And what they'll do is shine a laser up to see how much distortion there is in the air. And when they get the image of the laser in the telescope, they know how the computer can figure out how to adjust the actuators to focus the image better to make a better image. Um, it's a, you can only get like smaller telescopes. They can't do it because they don't have actuators. But there have been ways of building smaller adaptive optic systems for telescopes.
I could care less about this laser that's being pointed up
That's the cool part.
here. I don't know. But this is what you're seeing. I don't know. This angle of attack, I don't know how you get a severe picture with the telescope on the horizon. So I don't know.
This is probably not taken by a telescope. This is probably by a photographer, and even though you have a round lens, you usually have a square sensor.
How this is taken up on my cell phone. Right here, this is what you guys are seeing. You know, this mumbo jumbo here. This is the Milky Way. It's not a galaxy. It's a destination in the sky.
The thing is we're part of the Milky Way. We're surrounded by the Milky Way. It's just so huge, and it's not a destination. We're in it, which it's like being in a crowd. If you look at one way, you see a crowd. You look the other way, you see a crowd, and you're part of the crowd. And during different parts of the year, you can actually change our orientation to the galaxy. One time we're looking more towards the center, and during the winter we're looking more towards the outer edges, or out towards the galaxies and stuff outside of our galaxy.
It's an area in the sky. You look up and you see the Milky Way, and it's only right here. Okay, we are not using flying through outer space. It's absolute bullshit. It's right here.
No, that's actually the truth, but okay, we'll let them go for a few more minutes.
And so what I'm doing with my binoculars, if this is the actual Milky Way, I'm zooming into this area right here through my binoculars, and only this spot. And then I'll move over to here and only zoom into this.
That's what telescopes do, too. Well, binoculars are kind of like having two refractor telescopes together.
Spot right here. Okay? And I will zoom in into the next shot. And then maybe I'll move the binoculars over here. We'll take this picture. We'll zoom into these two stars over here. Take a nice shot picture over here. And maybe move over just a little bit more because I may have seen something else within the frame of my binoculars. So we'll take a screenshot of this area right here. I'm not saying this exact area, but if I was looking in the sky with my binoculars, I would zoom into this certain little area. Not the entire sky like we're supposed to be seeing right here. So this, I don't know what is this, I don't know what, I would probably be able to find out on my app what stars these were. Again, I'm not trusting this picture.
I don't know off the top of my head either, but I'm assuming this is like a southern hemisphere image. But looking at the telescopes, I think this is. Well, can't really tell. Let's see. Let's pull back.
Of course, you've got the crazy ass spiral galaxy there. See?
Okay, now we're going to switch over to my file folder. Okay, as I said, these are images I took years ago. It's like a 14-inch telescope. So I tried to doing this during the live stream, but for some reason it wouldn't work during his live stream. This is Galaxy M51. Can't remember how far. No. It's a fair distance away. You can definitely see the spiral. I wonder if you guys can see this. There's a delay. So this is, anybody see that? So this, why am I there? This is definitely, you can definitely see the spiral on this. I'm gonna double check, 'cause I'm not 100% sure. I know it's 31 million light years away. Okay, and now we're gonna look at. Let's see what some. Okay, I'm gonna do something. Give me a second here. This is good. Okay, just give me a second here. Okay, we're gonna change scenes again. Hopefully you guys can see that. This is the Burke Gaffney Observatory in Halifax. It's located on top of a 22-story building. I was actually hired for a year to take images for undergrad students to do first year and second year to do. Okay, the original telescope was a 40 centimeter telescope, which is about 14 inches, and they upgraded to a 0.6 meter telescope, which is about 16 inches. But the new telescope you can actually operate online. You have to go through, they've got a bit of a process, but okay. And you can see it's on top of the building. This was during the aurora. They actually got a cool picture of it. But yeah, that's where those images have been taken from. So I'm going to go back to the scenes, and we're going to see at least a couple more galaxies. And so yes, you do see spirals in real images. And I mislabeled this one. I think it's M72. It's a star cluster, an open star cluster, because he's actually shown some of his. Oh, of course. Just give me a second here. You guys didn't see it. Display capture. Let's see if you guys see this now. Sorry, just figuring things out here. That's Mikey. We're going back here. Okay. Let's try window capture. Okay. Here's an image of a star cluster, M71. Because I think he actually took pictures of star clusters in this, and he just kind of doesn't know it. Some things in his images actually look good, in a way. But he doesn't know what he's looking at. I think that's part of... What did I just do? Okay, I'm trying to show you guys a spiral here. There we have it. There's M51. And as I said, this is, what, 30 million light years away? And you definitely can see the spiral. So that's taken in a 14-inch telescope. So you can definitely see it in that. So now we're going to go back to Mikey. And hopefully you guys saw that. So now we'll go back to Mikey. Let him ramble for a bit, because we still have 35 minutes to launch, and you can see it's not too bad. Some big puffy clouds rolling through. Okay, somebody is... So back to Mikey. So, where is... There he is. Sorry for that.
Alright, so what do we got here? We got Newfoundland, good to see you there. Thomas. Spec. There is there. Out the way. We'll zoom into the picture. Part of it. You can see all of the interesting, wonderful area between the stars. And again, looking at the stars, they are all side by side and connected to the surface.
Okay, they look side by side, but the thing is, you don't really have much depth perception when you're looking at a 2D image, and it also has to do with lenses. I'm not an expert. As I say, I'm not an expert in much, but it also has to do with lenses. Dave McKeegan probably can explain that more than anybody else, but that's what it is. Plus, here's the thing: when you when you focus down a certain area of light, you can see more of the faint light behind it, and you can see stars that are farther away. That a lot of the faint dots are probably stars but you won't recognize them as stars. But
No, they are not light years away. Absolute bullshit. So, check it out. And trust me, they're just gonna get better, okay? Tonight. As the sky clears up more and more. So, other shit here between the stars. I'm not concerned about the stars right now. I'm taking night shot pictures. I'm more concerned about what's between the stars.
it's mostly dust in between stars. But part of this is he's just seeing fader objects, fader stars. Plus, also, chips have variations of how much each cell picks up light, or each pixel picks up light. So there are some errors in that. Okay, that's fine, unforticated. But yeah, like priorities change. So, and hopefully flat Earth is dying down. But the only reason to use Mikey is just so you can you can explain some of these things that they always say. But yeah, like Dearth is Flat Earth Dave has, I think, crossed the line. If MC Tune's correct of what's happening there, somebody published a very nasty website about MC Tune, and that's crossed the line. But yeah, Will Duffy, was on the normal side, and he's shutting down his operation, or shut down his operation yesterday with a 4-hour stream. But yeah, I get into flat Earth. I'm in and out on a flat Earth. It's always been there for the last few years, but it's usually crackpots. I don't know why it got so popular online. I think people just enjoying seeing the fights. I don't know what MC Tune will probably find something else to do. Probably go after more down to earth issues. I know Craig McNeil is trying to change to scam baiting and going after the scammers. For the longest time, I've been into the very obscure science areas, there's electric universe theory, there's PM Robitaille. I wrote an article on my blog about it. There's a channel called Demystifying Science, which promotes a lot of anti-science stuff, and I've got to go back to See the Pattern. He has a very different view on science at times. So yeah, things change. Hopefully Flat Earth is dying. Mikey Smith, there'll probably be people like Mikey Smith and some others who will always believe the Earth is flat, no matter what you tell them or no matter what the evidence is. It's more being contrary and faith-based than anything else. Yeah. Oh yeah, things change. I've got to change my priorities on a few things too. So. Lindsay, you're here. Cool to see you. Yeah, things change from time to time. But yeah, if Dearth was behind that attack on MC Tune, I don't want to be on the bad side of Tune. Tune knows the internet way too well to deal with. Yeah, well, it's down to less than half an hour. So. Sorry. Okay. We'll spend more time with this group, but it's turning out to be a beautiful afternoon in southern Newfoundland. That's where this is located, but everything changes from time. Things change. I have to do. There's several things that I have to do. So, but. So we'll see what goes on here today. But it looks like they're going to have some good weather. So I'm just trying to explain. I wish we could go out. I wish a couple of people could go out to Mikey and just sit down and have like a cup of tea or something at Tim Hortons and just discuss to him how things work. As you know, most people, as Dan and Lindsay know, Mikey got banned from the observatory, but that was just his own attitude. He walks in there and starts saying that's all fake and putting his own pictures in the materials and starts arguments outside the observatory. Having an active discussion is fine, but he uses a lot of curse words and he won't listen to people who have who try to explain the science to him. So, but yeah, hopefully flat Earth is dying. We can move on to other things. But so the only reason the only reason I'm trying to do is the videos and stuff is trying to. Here's the thing. Years ago, I started writing articles and stuff on my blog. It's called David LP Fairweather Astro. That's my name. The only reason I use screen names is because there's other David Fairweathers out there. There's actually a famous photographer and a psychologist in Toronto with the same name. So I'm not worried about being. I'm not super scared of being doxxed because if people are going to find out things, they'll find out things. Plus, I'm not in the middle of a city or anywhere like it's going to be easy for the people to find me. So, but just one moment, I've got to clear my throat. But no, so it's less than 25 minutes. I don't know their schedule, so this is just a Pathfinder mission. This is just a test of concepts and see if they can do it. But that's and the reason why I started was when I was at university, people made up stories and bugged me. I got some kind of social anxiety or something in those situations. My brain doesn't function that great, so I decided to do all the stuff online to try to get back. But oh, hello, real Cygnus. So sorry to get my life story into this, but so hopefully try to get back into astronomy somehow. So if you want to check out the blog, check out the blog. I think somebody has been checking it out lately. I don't see much traffic in the last couple of weeks. Last few days it's been week it's been fairly busy, so for that blog. But and I got into debunking because there was a guy named Phil Plate. I've heard about the bad astronomer. I was there commenting for years. So that got me into debunking and like things like the electric universe and stuff. So, and it's not like some of this stuff isn't harmful, but it's usually a kind of a gateway or an indicator of other theories. But so we'll listen to. So hopefully they'll launch and not scrub again today. Oh yeah, if you want to look up a lot of resources for debunking things, there's a lot of good skeptical podcasts. There's things like The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, which usually has a live stream on a Friday afternoon. I don't know if they're doing it, but they have a live stream on Wednesdays and Fridays and a podcast that comes out on Saturdays. They've been around for about 20 years. They've published over 1,000 episodes. There's the Skeptic Zone from Australia, which with Richard Saunders, and there's Merseyside Skeptics, and there's European Skeptics. They all have different kind of expertise. The Skeptic Zone started in the mid-aughts. They did a lot of anti-vax things because when they were coming out, there was a child who died from whooping cough, and she didn't have to die from whooping cough. So, there's Skeptics Guide. They have on panel 5 people. One's a recently retired Yale neurologist, so There's a lot of stuff about the brain. There's a couple people are good on space and computers. There's Merseyside, skeptics out of Merseyside, which is near Liverpool. So sorry for going off topic from rockets, but those are good resources. So, and there's a couple of good skeptic forums. There's the International Skeptics Forum, which used to be the James Randi Educational Foundation Skeptics Forum, and there's CosmoQuest. So if you guys are looking for stuff to research and to look into, there's a lot of resources there. There just seems to be more and more of that stuff coming out recently. Where did I put that? The link to the blog. Just a second. Do. I'm trying to get a link here. Well, probably seeing the blog right now. I'm trying to get the link. So how do I get you to guys? Okay, I'll go back to the rocket launch. Hopefully you guys are seeing the rocket launch. And let me see if I can get the text. I'll shrink that down, the text a little. No, maybe I can't. I'll put it in the notes. Just a second. I'll put a link to it in the notes. So I'll have to do that afterwards. Oh, silly me. There's a link to the blog, and that's to the most recent thing. It's in the chat. So let's check on the lunch. Did I hit the wrong? Nope, there we go. I hit the wrong button. I thought I'd, but no, it's less than 20 minutes to go. I've only launched rockets like once in middle school. So. So I haven't done many of the launches from home. I've got probably a good spot to do it from, but I think we're done with Mikey for a little bit, but yeah, where's okay? Since a few people showed up a little later, we're gonna show where it's. The launch site is right here. This is town of St. Lawrence in Newfoundland. Okay, and there is another launch service. I wasn't up to date on things, but there's another one's located here, Maritime Launch Services. But that's where it is from today. And also, this is part of France. These two islands right here. So if the rocket goes this way, we'll be attacking France. So. Well, Demystifying Science had Wall Thornhill and the Electric Universe on fairly early, and I kind of knew who, but yeah, they're. It's not a bad thing to have alternate theories, but you have to test them, and if they don't work, they don't work. And a lot of the things they've been going into is stuff that doesn't really work. So, but, and they're biologists, and there's nothing wrong with biologists not taking an interest in physics, but they not very well. They allow a lot of stuff through that they don't allow through. And I think they actually had. Can't think of his name at the moment. Universe Today. Fraser King. They had him on, but I can't seem to find his interview on there anywhere about SETI. So I think they pulled it, or he asked for it to be pulled. But then the thing is Demystifying Science also has their own conference, and actually during the Texas eclipse, they actually were down in Texas and had a little conference down there with Robitaille. Hello, CK. Yeah, they are a bit in that alternate view of things. Oh. Hopefully not too long. As I said, this was scrubbed earlier today, so the quick release on the nitrogen tanks wouldn't loosen up. So it may be a second scrub for the day, but we'll see. But let me talk for a bit about Mikey. Yeah, I've only got one monitor here, so I'm kind of flipping between things. Oh, yeah. I trying to show some images. Oh, what's going on now? Sound, that's an improvement. So we're just going to go through it, show them demonstrating their rockets again. This is their demonstrating their Hatfield engine. So that's them testing their Hatfield engines. Okay. Let's go back to the launch site. It's still on hold. I think they're just waiting for clear skies. Yep, and it looks like their engines are running pretty cool. But it's in Newfoundland. It's out here. It's out on the east coast. It's pretty much as far east as you can get. Can you see that? Well, yeah, Newfoundland does get a little windy or fog, and can get a lot of fog out there too. Yeah, well, there's another spaceport in a neighboring province. Okay. There's another spaceport for the Maritime Launch Services, or here in Canso. Nova Scotia, and that's pretty far east too. I'm over in here. Okay, pretty much nailed my location by chance. Well, as close as you can. So, still on hold. Yeah, the flag's flipping around there pretty fast. I was telling people for a while. I lived in Halifax, going to St. Mary's, and I got to use the old telescope in there. So yeah, I've known some people from Nova Scotia too. Well, the thing about the three eastern New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and PEI are collectively called the Maritimes. So everybody here is called the Maritimer. If you include people from Newfoundland, it's usually Atlantic Canada, but it's the same general group of people. It's a lot of Celtic, French. Let's go back to the map for a second. Like, if you draw a line like this through New Brunswick, this is more Francophone or French, and this is more Anglophone, but we're the only bilingual province. But yeah, like these three provinces are generally the Maritimes. And if you include Newfoundland and Labrador, which Newfoundland has this big part up here too, it's fairly low density population, but nice people pretty much all throughout the area. Not like, well, I'm not going to say much. There are exceptions to the rules in Canada, but so see, go back to the launch. It's still on hold, and the rocket itself is being built in. It was built in Toronto and moved out to Newfoundland. And it's not lunchtime, it's supper time. And okay, the timer says 5:52 Newfoundland time. They're about a half hour ahead of people in the rest of the Maritimes or Atlantic Canada, and they're about an hour and a half ahead of Eastern time in the States. Oh, they're not scrubbing. Explore Newfoundland. We don't live here for the weather, that's for sure. It can get foggy and it could get wet and windy. Oh, somebody's on hold because of the jet on top. Could have been on hold, but let's. Oh, just okay, but it looks like it's on hold. Oh yeah, there's all kinds. Oh, edible mushrooms. I think there's a lot of edible mushrooms around here. I'm see plenty in the woods behind my place, but I don't know if they're edible or the ones you're not supposed to be being edible on. I've never been to that far west in Alberta. I know some people who used to live actually on this very road who live out in Alberta and in Vancouver or Victoria. One's a chef. The ones that used to live on this road. One's a chef, and Victoria. One's a chef in Edmonton, and a couple of them worked in construction. And one person who used to I grew up with lives in Victoria. He's a motivational speaker. Well, yeah. Edible things on here are what we call tea leaves, which are these little leaves that grow close to the ground. They're kind of edible. I think they have salicylic acid or caffeine in them. Plus, we also have like raspberries and blackberries, and there's some places that have wild cranberries and wild blueberries growing. But one thing that grows wild around here are fiddleheads, which is kind of a fern, kind of related to mushrooms. Let's see if they can take the hold off. Nope, still under hold. One hour window left, so still got some time before they leave. But they've been on hold for a few minutes now. It looks quite windy there by the flag. A few insults about Starlink and political things here. Well, the fuel they're using is Jet A and LOX, so that's the fuel they're using on this mission, on this rocket, and it's a 3D printed engine. So let's hopefully they can get it to work. Let's take a look at. Okay, let's look. Okay. Well, there's rain coming in this evening. And for tomorrow. Doesn't look like much on the radar. But I'm not a specialist in reading it, but. Oh. Doesn't look like there was much on the radar. You can see it's getting cleared off. Okay, I hope it's... well, if it's raining tomorrow, they probably won't launch. But tomorrow, about 3 p.m. my time, I've got to be somewhere, so... it'll probably be a few hours. Okay, we'll stay on here for a while. Oh yeah, a little tip of traveling in Canada. Don't get St. John's, Newfoundland, mixed up with St. John, New Brunswick. It's happened. But if it's apostrophe S, it's in Newfoundland. Okay, we'll go back to Mikey Smith for a while. 'Cause they may be on. Back to Mikey Smith for a few minutes.
Light reflecting off the surface here. Absolutely. There you go. Getting some absolute crazy pictures here, guys. Okay, what we got here. Some stuff here. Again, not all of these are going to be 100% fantastic. I'm just presenting them as they happen. And these, this faded light, this is just the other star being actually moving. think these faded lights are the stars?
I think I made a comment on his. I know I made a comment on his stream about those being stars. Those could be stars, but that's probably what he's reacting to there. But let's check back with the rocket. Oh, it's back. It's back counting down. So we're down to the last 15 minutes. Maybe, but you can see it's a nice clear sky. Hopefully they fix their problem. So, less than 10 minutes to go. Okay. Not much to say. I'll just read some of these comments. Everybody wants it to launch. Joe Rogan will probably have other things to report to other than faces about things. Okay. There's a couple things here saying RRP Joe Rogan. I think that's just not my favorite person on earth, but I actually liked him on news radio. That's where he. That's the. Okay, it's spam. No, saying RP Joe Rogan before the person dies is not the right thing to say. This has been around for a while, apparently. Since 2020. Okay. Hopefully it's just a meme. Problem with the internet, it's there's so much stuff being launched that you can't really know how long it's been around. Oh, I couldn't look up Wikipedia here for a second. I think he's in his 50s. The funny thing about news radio is one of his co-stars is actually in From the Earth to the Moon playing Al Bean, a guy named Dave Foley. If I can actually... Why did I hit... Spell check was invented for me in 1967, so okay, 58, August 11th, 1967. So I'd be about 58 years old. That'd be really young for somebody to die. Oh, what's going on? Okay, we're down to the last. It's on hold again. I hope it launches today. So but wishing people death or physical harm is not good. Am I the youngest guy here? I'm about the same age as unfornicated. Yeah, now I can see the clouds. Yeah, the East Coast is not known for a lot of sunny skies. Well, I showed the observatory earlier. One summer, I was supposed to work it during the summer one year, and half the year it was being remodeled, and then the other half, every morning I woke up to a foghorn in Halifax. So it gets cloudy and foggy quite easily. But oh no, Joe Rogan does. I don't know if he believes in a lot of stuff he has on his show, but he does interview a lot of people with some out there ideas. So and this weekend Craig's doing a stream. I hope he keeps his shirt on. Oh yeah, to a large degree it's just a number, but here's the thing with Craig. There's a lot of times where I have to switch off because he gets a little too angry and worked up. That's a good thing, and hopefully the clouds will clear. But and Toon can get a little on the angry side for me too. But since they're not listening. Uh-oh. Wonder if the liquid oxygen is too warm for them. Or too cold. It's better to be too cautious than to be too, well, rash and something like this, because it could be a lot of damage. Where it's located, it's kind of isolated, but you don't want all that infrastructure to go up in flames. I'm amazed Newfoundland's been pretty much on fire all summer. Different parts of they've had different out of control forest fires, so they must have some kind of good way of not letting the fire let the fire get out of hand. Right now, actually, our province is in the no burn area, so they probably would never allow this happen right now. But their stream's about 12 hours long. I wonder how long they can keep it going. Because this is normally where everybody has to start a new stream. So, but there's it takes a long time to take out some of these fires. Some of them are quite large. Let's just check. Not the map I was looking for. That's US. Does it do Canadian fire? Yeah, there's... Now, there's some fires in our province and in Nova Scotia. This one here is quite big and quite worrying. Oh, maybe Newfoundland got all their fires out. Where is the key? No, maybe they're not under much risk anymore. But they did have several big fires going, so. And this is the area where they are. Okay, purple is low, green's moderate, yellow is high, kind of brown is very high, and red is an extreme. So we're under high. So that gives you the okay, there's still a few active wildfires in Newfoundland. There's a few in New Brunswick as well. But I'll go back to the launch site because I'll probably end up missing it. Nope, still on hold. Okay, their nominal temperature and their liquid oxygen. Okay. Okay. Just waiting for them to not be on hold. Let's go back to the chat for a few minutes and see what's going on there. So okay. Yay, watching clouds fly by. Go back to Mikey, I guess, for a while.
Just the sky looking
sorry, going back and forth here, but yeah, the elongated trails are because he's not moving the camera with the Earth, so they look elongated. But that's all that is. Let's see if there's anything really. Any difference in what he's talking about? Seeing what there's ahead of him.
See, like this right here, it's just a duplicate of this. Okay, so don't think that this is another star beside this.
Oh, that could be an. If it's a duplicate, it's a problem with this binoculars. It could actually be a duplicate being reflected. I didn't think of that earlier, but it could be a duplicate being reflected internally between the optics, but
show you some more wonderful pictures that are coming up Of course, I will show you the wonderful star Sirius, my first picture that I keep reviewing video of it. So here, this one's kind of cool. It's got like a kind of a black streak here. Crevice or a wrinkle. Crack.
could just be a patch of dark night sky.
Obviously something here. This is not noise. This is 100% the surface here, and I can almost see this through the binoculars. The binoculars that I have now are absolutely crystal clear. It is amazing looking at the Milky Way above your head. You can see that there's a surface. It's straight and I don't even know if it's flat, level, curve, whatever it is, but there's something that you can see it.
Billions and billions of stars is in the Milky Way, and you can see dust clouds and you can see all kinds of stuff in the Milky Way. So there is stuff there. It's just he doesn't know how to recognize it.
Come here to Canada and I'll show you the
Still on hold, so.
Yeah, this is just further away, night shot picture. I only zoom in, like, I would say in between 2.5 and maybe 4 times zoom. 4 times zoom is almost too much. Sometimes the night shot mode doesn't work. Maybe I have to wait a little longer to get that picture.
More and more stars.
Pictures side by side. The stars side by side. There is no depth to the stars whatsoever.
Well, to determine depth, you have to do either parallax or, like, the way they measure for comets to see if it's actually moving in our solar system is if you have this dot here and 3 months or like 2 days later it's over here, and then 2 months over here it's over here, and you compare to the background, you can tell this object's moving relative to the background stars. So there's some depth. You can figure that out. There's other ways of figuring out depth. There's parallax. There's redshift. There's all kinds of other things to figure out how far away the stars are. They look at the same distance because he's not taking the right measurements. But to go back to the rocket, it's still on hold. So hopefully they'll launch it today. But there are the weather does say there's clouds coming in, so There's going to be rain tomorrow, so, and tonight, so. Okay, well. Oh yeah, he takes some interesting photographs. He doesn't know how to, he doesn't understand what's there for some reason. What the heck? Look at it.
Sometimes Zoom is almost too much. Sometimes the mic shot mode doesn't work. Maybe I have to wait a little longer to make sure it's side by side. Stars side by side. There is no depth to the stars whatsoever.
Okay. This looks like a nebula. I don't know which nebula, but that's what it looks like to me. I could be completely wrong, but he does get some good pictures out of the system. But and the thing is you don't want to zoom in too close because there's some things that are better seen in a wide shot than in a zoom. But that actually looks cool. Oh, it's back on. The cloud coat's back on.
Okay. Hope you guys are sitting down for this next picture.
So let's hope it goes all the way down to 0. Okay, so we're down to the last 7 minutes. Six and a half minutes, so I don't want to go back to Mikey because I'd probably get fixated on that and forget about the rocket launch. Okay. The thing with the flat earthers is they're not a major. They're not doing much harm to society. Well, some of them tend to be anti-vaxxers and harbor other conspiracy theories as well. So. It's usually like an indicator, but it's just if you think about it as from a science communicator side, and you constantly have to deal with somebody trying to tell you that your pictures are fake or you don't know what you're talking about, it does get annoying. What's it in Earth is probably more concerning, but. And what's the guy named? Oh, Dave Murphy over in England. I think he's a flat earther. I know he's an anti-vaxxer. I know he drinks stuff he should not be. I know, being cautious. but that's a good thing to keep an eye on. So the tanks are pressurized and the launch pad is secured. Hopefully this is a short hold. Oh yeah, Mikey is. Most of them are broken records. The same thing, time after time. Mikey's a lot worse. Every conversation, I think he comes out of the bathroom sometime. I just went to the bathroom. I'm suing the Canadian Space Agency, because every conversation online seems to go that way. He seems to throw that little bit in there. It's like a mark of honor. Okay. I was expecting this only to be a little while, and it's going on to like 2 hours. I've been online. Where do I find that? So, but hopefully everybody's having a good conversation there. What? What? Down to 58 seconds? That's not good. I don't think that's good. Or maybe it's great, but let's see. Maybe they gotta shorten the timer. Make sure they get into a clear spot of sky. But it's about 6:30. They got about another hour and a half of sunlight, maybe. So that maybe what? The engine's going. I don't think there'll be a launch, but we'll wait and see. It looks like the engine started for like 2 seconds and burnt out, and they're stuck at 58 seconds. So I don't think so. That's a good thing to do if you're venting out fuel. So we'll wait. We'll see what happens here. You don't know that quick burn may be part of the process for their engines, but I doubt it. It's going to be a bit of negative. Problem with trying to do something fancy in the chat is somebody may put something in between your things. Somebody tried to spell scrub with each letter on a new line. Good one, Lindsay. Oh. Yeah, we got a bit of political conversation in the chat here. And their chat. Well, it's a very complicated thing to launch a rocket. So if they're being cautious and there's still a few errors, that's fine. And they're holding it back, it's fine. Well, the thing with SpaceX, it became something. Them blowing, their rockets blowing up has became a bit of a joke. And it's like, oh, they're going to launch. Okay, rapid disassembly, rapid unplanned disassembly, or whatever. Ignition issue detected. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Yeah. They may have to bring her down again. May have to wait until Sunday. Oh, dee. I guess it'll be a scrub too, but we'll wait. I'll wait a few more minutes. I have a lighter. To take a little bit more than a lighter. It's not just lighting it, it's making sure the propellant and the liquid oxygen gets mixed at the right rate. So I think that probably is going to be a scrub. And it is clouding in more now. Oh, yeah, it is good to hang out for a while on a Friday. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this because I'm actually getting a little bit hungry and I need some water soon. So when we get if we get an official scrub warning here or notice, I'll probably quit for tonight. Or about 12 minutes, hopefully. But I don't think anything's going to go on. Here's the thing about some of the bigger channels is you kind of get people in the chat kind of get, there's too much activity in the chat and you kind of gets too busy and you can't keep up what's going on. So it's kind of good to have these smaller groups to be part of for a while. So sounds like gas escaping somewheres. Well, there's 2 or 3 different groups that I hang out with, so online. Like I call it the MC2 and McNeil. Oh, can't think of his name. With the English guy. Went to Antarctica. Dave McKeegan, and like I think a lot of them also hang out with Drunk Debunk and Unfornicated. And there's another skeptical skeptical groups that I hang out with, so online. But yeah, it is good to at least have some kind of social interaction, at least online. So yeah, I don't think that sounds too promising. I'm not a rocket engineer, so. Okay, it looks like that wraps it up for today for them. I'm gonna call it quits too. I may just play a song here. Okay, it has something to do with space. Probably recognize one person, and you probably recognize the guy talking there is part of the group called the Bare Naked Ladies. And if you ever watched The Big Bang Theory, you've heard him sing. Yeah, it's a scrub. I'm probably getting no. Hopefully, no copyright.
Look out my window, here comes home. What once was fueled by fear, now has 50 nations already together here. So sing your song, I'm listening, out where stars are listening, I can hear your voices bouncing off the roof. If you could see our nation from the International Space Station, you know why I wanna get back soon. Or you know why I wanna get back soon. You know why I wanna get back soon. Yeah, you know why I wanna get back soon. You know why I wanna get back soon.
Well, everybody have a good day or good night or whatever. I'm gonna call this quits for now. Oh crap. Yeah. I may have overstepped copyright, but I'm not going to get any money off this. And hopefully tomorrow I once in a while work for an auction company. Yesterday I helped unload a truck. Tomorrow I'm going to load the truck. Help load the truck. So I'll be busy tomorrow. Hopefully, and it says it's going to be raining. So have a good one and have a good day. Bye. I may see you guys in the streams later on tonight, but have a good one. Bye.